My name's Jeff Stutt. I've moved from the Waikato up into Auckland, working with pest plants down there and running a small lawn mowing business up here. And I have a pet peeve that I'm seeing on the daily, and that is invasive pest plants all through suburbia. So obviously these plants are being spread into our native bush, into our public reserves, and they're a real problem. And they're not difficult to deal with. I think the main issue is people being aware of what plants are and how to deal with it, which is not complicated and not expensive. You don't need a lot of expensive equipment. This is glyphosate gel. You can get smaller, cheaper containers, different brands in a place like Bunnings. And obviously the secateurs for removing the fruit. And because the timber is really soft, will be quite easy to cut out with a small fold-out pruning saw like that. So down here we've got a woolly nightshade plant, which would probably know as wild tobacco or tobacco weed. It's a South American plant. Looks a lot like datura, but unlike datura, doesn't have the big bell-shaped flowers. It has small purple flowers on the top, and they'll spread just by dropping the seeds with gravity. And also the pigeons, kidderoo and other birds will shift the seeds around, and wherever they roost and drop, so you'll see it under balconies, porches, along fence lines, places like that. And wherever you get a plant that's somewhat mature, there'll be seedlings. So I'll show you what a seedling looks like. Harder to recognise when it's this size, but it was growing out of here and I attempted to pull it out. But it'll grow in a crack in the concrete in a block wall. Here's a seedling here. And when they're this size, quite easy to remove just by pulling the roots out, and job done. They're called woolly nightshade because they have this fluffy feel underneath, like hairs under the leaf. So there's like a white powder, which is a skin irritant. So obviously not something you want the kids handling. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down near the ground. So while it's a reasonable sized plant, the timber is so soft that it's pretty easy to cut. And if you are going to cut and paste, make sure you paste it immediately, because if you leave it 20 or 30 minutes, it will seal over and the chemicals won't get in there. So yeah, it needs to be done pretty much straight away. And then what we want is the seeds, because if this was just left on the ground, these seeds can potentially germinate as well. And this is obviously what the birds eat and move around, and wherever they roost and poo, you've got new plants. Surprising how much fruit it produces. You know, you can see how quickly that will just spread. This bag full of fruit represents thousands of new plants. Just seal them, dispose them in the landfill. So it's not hugely complicated to deal with the problem, and people need to be aware of it and aware of the need to take action on it. It's a plant that's just going to gradually invade all our native bush and parks and gardens. Yeah, we just need to all be aware of it and all take action and do something, and then we can solve it.